Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm bringing you guys a transfer daily video. Now, just a quick announcement before I get into this video. I need to announce something. I'm going to be having Joe Tweedie on for a live stream later this evening around 9 PM or 10 PM. So you guys follow me on Twitter if you haven't, so you know what time I'm going to announce it. And on the community tab, I'm going to release the time when the stream's going to start. So make sure that you're free for this evening, because I'm going to be talking about Joe Tweedie's recent article that he did release today in regards to the future of Chelsea and everything with the club. It's an amazing read. In the community tab, I've linked the article. I suggest you guys read that because it's going to be used as a reference point for later tonight. It's one of the best Chelsea articles and really summarizes everything that I've been saying on this channel for a long time, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, starting with the first story, and that's in regards to Alex Telles and KURZAWA. Now, I have reported on Alex Telles before in previous Transfer Daily videos. Chelsea are targeting him and scouting him. We have had massive links to Telles over the few years. We've been following Telles since before he joined Galatasaray. He was an Emanalo signing. He was an Emanalo signing in the sense that tons of scouting reports have been made, very thorough, detailed scouting reports, and tens of hours of data analytics to really assess the player inside and out. Now, Telles was actually close to joining Chelsea beforehand. Telles' agent Fernando Otto actually stated that he would have joined Chelsea if he didn't sign a pre-contract agreement with Galatasaray, and that's what really stopped the move from happening. And we do know with Chelsea that we have a big history of finally signing players that we've been scouting for a long time. Eden Hazard was one of the biggest ones. Rudiger was another example recently. We tried to bring in Rudiger before he signed for Roma whilst he was at Stuttgart. Fernando Otto has also stated that he does one day see Telles signing for Chelsea because he has a relationship with the club with all of the discussions they've been having over the years. Now, some people might be thinking, but Nini, if we did sign him, he can't play in the Champions League. But one thing you need to remember is that we'll have Telles potentially and Marcos Alonso, two top-class left-wing back players. We do know that recently with Alonso, fitness has been an issue. He is a decent player. I don't think he's a world-class player, but when he's tired on top of that, he does become quite poor. Now, having Telles in the squad will help relieve a lot of pressure off Marcos Alonso, and really that would guarantee him all the Champions League games, so Conte could really rotate the squad and use it effectively. For example, let's say we're going to play Barcelona. The game beforehand, Telles could play, resting Marcos Alonso for that Champions League game. So Marcos Alonso is 100% fully fit for the upcoming game. It's believed that Telles wouldn't mind leaving Porto even though they are in the later stages of the Champions League, and he has a buyout clause that's roughly around £35 million. Now Nini, you're saying all these things about Telles, but why are you talking about KURZAWA? Well, it's been the story of our recent transfer windows, and a lot of you guys know that I'm getting very disappointed and kind of dejected with the lack of ambition at Chelsea. I've been told that Marina will try and sign Telles for under 30 million. Sometimes I think it gets to this weird point where if you're saving 5 million extra, it doesn't really make a massive difference. I mean, of course it does in terms of obviously player wages and things of that manner, but if you're serious about bringing a target into the club, 5 to 10 million really shouldn't be a massive detraction from that. Now, I've been told that Chelsea will sign whoever's cheap out of Telles and KURZAWA. If we can't get Telles for under 30 million, he's most likely going to be the #1 target. But if that isn't going to be the case, the club will have a backup option, and that's going to be KURZAWA from Paris Saint-Germain. But again, you might be thinking, but why would Paris Saint-Germain sell KURZAWA now? And this is going to link into the second story of the day later on, so bear with me. But it looks like Sandro will probably be joining Paris Saint-Germain. Now, Paris Saint-Germain, they do need to sell players to comply with financial fair play after that ridiculous amount of money they spent on Neymar and Mbappe. And Paris Saint-Germain are looking to offer the likes of Di Maria, Lucas, and possibly KURZAWA as well if they can bring in a replacement. Now, KURZAWA is a decent player, but he's a player that brings a lot of controversy. And it is kind of surprising that Chelsea would look at him, because what I've been told, Chelsea really don't like the controversial aspects of managers or players. I'll give you an example. A lot of people talk about Sarri becoming a potential manager at Chelsea, but I've been told that Sarri will never be a Chelsea manager due to his previous homophobic comments that he made. Now, of course, I'd say speculation, but when clubs sign players, they don't just look at him for the player, it's also the character as well. So it seems weird to me that Chelsea would consider KURZAWA, but maybe they're willing to make an exception. Still, it is very disheartening to hear that we are kind of pricing ourselves out from signing top class players that will really improve the squad. As I said, if you read Joe Tweedie's article, which is going to be in the description below as well, please read that. It really articulates everything surrounding all my disappointment and all the frustrations that we as Chelsea fans have. Moving on to the second story, and again another disappointing story, but that's in regards to Sandro. Now you guys, I do actually have to admit something, and it's something that I've been in denial about for quite a while at a time now. Now, for the past 2 months, I have been told that Chelsea won't be going in for Sandro. Now, of course, you know, my source is very, very trusted. A lot of everything he says does end up coming true. And when he told me that we weren't linked with Sandro, I really couldn't believe it. My hopes were getting up when mainstream media were reporting that Juventus have actually lowered the fee that they'd want for Sandro. I just kept thinking logically, but if we've already spoken a ton to the player, if his price is even less now, and if reports were true that Sandro already agreed upon a wage, then surely it's an easy signing to make now, and we should be making that #1 priority. But too often this season, one issue I have been facing a lot of times is always taking logic for granted. Like I said, I've been told this 2 months ago, and it's something he keeps telling me isn't gonna happen. But with me, and naturally I'm a very hopeful type of guy, sometimes to my detriment, and I just keep trying to use more logic. A lot of you guys have heard my thoughts and opinions on this matter already, but sometimes I'm thinking, well, if Juventus have actually made it aware price that clubs need to pay to bring in Sandro, that means that we're going to have more competition on our hands. So surely if we were to sign Sandro, it will have to be behind the scenes in the dark, similar to how we brought in Ross Barkley, where reports came just like that he was having his medical at the Chelsea Harbour Hotel. By sealing that signing quickly, we stopped talks with Tottenham and other potential clubs that would be interested in Ross Barkley. And we have had a history of doing things like this, so sometimes I'm hoping that maybe this is what we're doing currently behind the scenes. But the reason what I was told by my source was that we just didn't want to pay the money for Sandro, and the club were feeling that he wasn't worth that money anymore. Now, the fact that the mainstream media are reporting the same things my source has been telling me has made me turn my denial to acceptance. Matt Laws reported that the reason why Chelsea as well don't want to go in for Sandro now is due to his recent form, and the fact that due to Marcos Alonso's form, because he scored goals in games, they feel that that doesn't mean that Sandro should justify paying a world record fee for a fullback. And by higher ups I just mean Marina. Still, I'll never give up hope. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's say hypothetically Juventus do lower his fee even more because they are willing to accept offers for him because Sandro isn't happy and he does want to leave. Who knows, maybe there could be a change of heart behind the scenes as well. Very unlikely, but we can only pray. But it seems like, you guys, this is the end of Sandro ever coming to Chelsea. And it is even more frustrating knowing how close we are to bringing him in, and if it was a more positive, winning attitude, if there were more people who understood football at the board level, he'd be a Chelsea player. So that makes it even harder. Now, ending with the final stories, Michy Batshuayi is linked with leaving in January. Now, a lot of you guys had watched my Ross Barkley official signing video, and I did talk about our links to Andy Carroll because the club are looking for a target man. Now, Michy is only going to leave if a replacement comes in for him. Now, before I was told that the club would potentially let Michy leave anyway because they would use Eden Hazard up front. But it seems like the only 2 signings we will make in January will be at left wing back and a striker. Now with Michy, I've said this time and time again, but it's not because he's a bad player, no, he's a good striker. It's just that he doesn't suit the system Conte wants, and we can't forget strikers complement systems. My argument's been though, due to the pragmatic system we use, we kind of price ourselves up from signing a lot of other players. I mean, the fact that we're so adamant at bringing in a target man, even though the target men we've been linked with aren't of the greatest technical abilities, is quite disappointing in my opinion. And of course, you've got to take into account too, you can't really bring in every first choice target in January especially, and this is why we're linked with so many underwhelming target men strikers. But again, if you really think of it, who are really world-class target men strikers? I mean, you could say Belotti. His goal scoring form hasn't been that great. It would have been a massive risk if we spent that ridiculous amount of money Torino wanted for him, and I'm happy we didn't because it made no sense. But if you look at all the big clubs, there's a reason why none of them use target men strikers. Anyway, they are kind of dying out in a bit. So it frustrates me why Conte is so adamant that he wants a target man. Now, again, people will say, of course, the manager should bring in his targets. Yes, I do agree to some reason, but these types of targets aren't going to improve the team. It's just going to give Conte more tactical options. So for example, the game against Norwich, he would have just brought on a target man striker to play up front with someone so he could pump balls to the striker. Is it the most exciting technical way to play? No, it isn't. But again, when people say let's support the manager, these are the type of things that we're supporting. But again, it seems like Mitchley's only going to leave until we bring in a striker first. And ending on the final story, and that's in regards to players leaving on loan. Now the first one reported to be linked with a loan move is Ampadu to Sunderland. Of course, Chris Coleman is the Sunderland manager now. He was the Wales national team manager. He gave Ampadu his debut as well as Woodburn from Liverpool. He really has a lot of faith in Ampadu and would like him to play under him for the rest of the season. I think in Ampadu's case now, it makes sense to get a loan move because when we do play against Arsenal, we definitely know Conte won't use any youth players at all whatsoever. And judging by the lineup that Conte picked for the game against Norwich, he isn't going to be using any youth players anymore. So if Ampadu wants game time, it's time to leave. Another guy that's close to signing for Sunderland is Jake Clark-Salter. Again, very disappointed, and I really don't like how the club really manage youth. I really think it's not morally right. Sometimes they're just looking at them as money signs. Because, as I did state before in previous Transfer Daily videos, we did deny Jake Clark-Salter the right from signing for Borussia Mönchengladbach on loan for the rest of the season. And that was because we didn't sign in replacements first. And I really do think that the fact we hold back so many young players from getting very good loan clubs because we try and sign transfer targets first, it's not fair on the young players. You know, it's not fair that the board are really messing up in terms of sealing these deals quickly, and it's not right on their careers too, because this is why the likes of your Bogers and Bakers are in the Championship right now when they shouldn't have been. I think Jake Clark-Salter needs this loan move. Again, he's a very good ball playing defender, someone who plays on the left. He is going to be a Premier League defender in the future, make no words about that. He just needs that game time. And the final story is on Baba Rahman. It looks like Baba will be signing for Schalke on loan. Before, I was actually going to put this in the previous Transfer Daily video, but I didn't have the time. I didn't want to make it a 16-minute video. But Schalke and Chelsea's medical teams have been talking because Schalke really want to know the extent of Baba's injury. Of course, he's been back to full match fitness. He's fit again now, but they want to know if he's going to be fully 100% match fit in about 2 weeks' time, or if it's going to take him about a month or two to be match fit, because if it was going to take longer, they're not going to wait for him. But it seems like everything's fine, and Baba will most likely be going to Schalke this January. But of course, before Baba leaves, the new left wing back has to come in first. And as Schalke's manager has stated, Baba already has a flat there. He's already played for the club. It's easy. Schalke are second in the Bundesliga. Of course, they rate Baba very highly. I don't understand why Baba can't be given the second choice spot or the ability to fight for first place with Alonso when he suits the system. But again, you know, when people say let's support Conte for what he wants, these are the type of things we're supporting. But anyway, you guys, that's going to bring an end to today's Transfer Daily video. Like I said, later on, I'm going to post what time the live stream is going to be with Joe Tweedie. Don't miss that. It's going to be a great one later tonight. And make sure in the description here below, you have to read his article. It summarizes everything beautifully surrounding Chelsea. And really, it's a great reference point for tonight's live stream. Anyway, you guys, I'm the FC. This is Blue Line CV, signing out.